having just insulted 50 states, including our own, and Canada.
Now, not everyone's seen the Gravity Falls vlog, so now they're going to have to go and see every single state that we insulted, including the 51st being Canada.
I don't think we were able to get to every state, but I think we got about 30.
We got a good half of them, at least. But anyway, this is our real thought, having it be October, yes. Oh, I wait all year. I just fucking wait all year for fall to come, and it really took its time. We didn't have a fall in September. It was really weird.
I do find it funny, though, that we finally had fall weather pretty much September 29th, September 30th is when it started.
Yeah, it usually starts earlier.
Yeah, we've only had like a couple days going into October 1st, and now it's like 60 degrees, and
I just want to hold on to it forever. It just feels so good. Okay, so we're going to talk about, I think we can kind of do just general, like, the Ernest movies we saw, real bit, just our quick sum-ups, but mainly Ernest Scared Stupid, because, we're doing Halloween and stuff like that. And I guess we just go down the line real fast. We can start with the first movie. Ernest Goes to Camp. I thought kind of sucked. I know it's like the first movie, and it's like...
It's the classic, man.
You know what it feels like? It feels like a movie that was already 5 movies down, and it's like, it's Ernest, yeah, but throw in some kids, throw in some...
that would be
popular
Ernest
at the time.
Stupid.
Well, yeah, but no, that's what it feels like. It feels like they start off with that movie, because so much of it is on these kids, and the kids are annoying and stupid, and they throw in this dumb last-minute, like, forest warrior shit at the end, where it's like, oh, Ernest is like the chosen one, that he has the spirit of the not getting hit with a gun somehow.
It's
it's really bad.
Very 80s movie. Kind of would have been the Adam Sandler film of its time. The plot is like the same sort of like gotta save the camp.
But I will say this, it gave us one thing that I totally forgot about. I think most people do, but somebody showed it to me. And I'm like, how did I forget about it? There's this song called Gee, I'm Glad It's Raining. Do you remember that song?
No.
It is a surprisingly sad, depressing, emotional song, and I was watching it again.
You will believe Ernest can cry.
It's kind of like that. It's really fucking weird. I was like, wow, there's like this one really genuinely sad moment. It's kind of like the Bluebird song in Follow That Bird. You just watch it like, what the fuck's happening right now?
We're like 1,000 kindergartners, like we're ready to slit their wrists.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like that, and I don't know how I forgot about it, or how most people did. Maybe it was just in between so much other nonsense, but yeah, so don't like the first film very much. Then you got Ernest Saves Christmas, which is really stupid, but by God...
I like how you didn't ask me what I thought of the first film.
I just assumed you agree. Yeah, I mean, like...
Honestly, I thought it was okay.
Oh, you thought it was okay? Really?
Out of all of the... we're talking about the Ernest movies, okay? So you gotta, like, set the bar pretty high.
Had a great poster. Poster was wonderful.
It really did stick out in the old video rental places, particularly if you got like the big box copy.
Yeah.
As far as the bar is set for Ernest movies, it was all right. It is not my favorite.
Even by Ernest movie standards, I thought it was pretty low.
It is not my favorite. The indisputable king of all Ernest movies is still Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yes, which is just great.
There's no even arguing. I mean, if you try to claim one of the other ones, you're wrong. You're actually factually wrong. There is no subjectivity here. You're objectively wrong. Science has proven that Ernest Saves Christmas is the better
He keeps
movie.
the Christ in Christmas.
Yeah. Ernest does keep the Christ in Christmas.
Yeah, I know, because it's on a bumper sticker and nowhere else in the movie. Oh my God.
Put the ass from Ernest back in Christmas.
Yeah, nicely done. But yeah, it's not good, but God bless it, I love it. It's so stupid and so corny, but
how do you put this? Its heart's in the right place.
It really is. It's one of those where like it totally slides on a few funny moments, a few bizarre funny moments, and just this absolute heart, and so much of it comes from what I declare the greatest Santa Claus that has ever hit film.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
also the Sultan from Aladdin.
Yeah.
He's just got such an adorable voice. Well, and he looks... That's what's so funny when I watch Aladdin, like... And when I see, I'm just like, they didn't change his kid. They made him a little tubbier, but
They
the
made him a little
animation,
dumber,
no, but the animation artist, it's like the exact same face.
Oh yeah,
Like it's creepy how they just captured the dude's face.
but yeah, so it's an innocent little dumb film. It is dumb, but it is just
We probably like its heart was in the right place. It's got the best Santa Claus I've seen in any movie. I fucking believe that dude is Santa Claus. And we're probably riding mostly on nostalgia.
Oh yeah, no.
Like,
but I'll still admit it's stupid. It's dumb.
We're riding on 90% nostalgia, 10% that this is still probably the best of this series.
Yeah,
so you
of
can
the
tell,
Ernest movies. Yeah,
they tried. This is the best you're gonna get. So that plus nostalgia, I actually legitimately enjoy watching this movie around the holidays.
Then you have Ernest Goes to Jail, which again is stupid, but is so bizarre that
it actually works.
I kind of.
It's my second favorite.
I enjoy watching it. It's so stupid. It makes no sense, but it's so bizarre in how it doesn't make any sense, and so strange in how colorful it is, and how visual it is, and the jokes. And it's just...
It gave Jim Varney a chance to, like, if you thought he was already hamming it up, his
evil
Ernest is a work of art. Like, I didn't realize, like, because he came back as, was it Slinky, the dog in Toy Story? When he died, I suddenly realized, I was like, I do kind of miss him. I was just like, I know.
He seemed like a really nice dude.
Siskel and Ebert thought he was the Antichrist.
Oh, every critic did.
Then Jim Carrey came along and probably took some of the Ernest shtick.
With Ace Ventura,
I don't know, I got a strange attachment to the Ernest movies, at least the early ones, and there was just something about Jim Varney. It was like, you know what? It's so bizarre and go for broke, it's almost endearing.
Yeah, no, and everybody, see, here's the thing that we didn't know because we were kids growing up. I mean, fucking every adult hated Ernest. I mean, they're just like, oh my god, this is stuff. They took that idiot from those commercials and they just gave him movies. That's so not fair. There's so many better movies that we can make and stuff. And you're right, there are much better movies you can make. But it's one of those things where it's like...
everybody said the same thing about Jim Carrey. I mean, we've got Adam Sandler and Rob Schneider, the new Whipping Boys. Now we've moved on to directors. We got Michael Bay.
And M. Night, though I haven't seen The Visit yet.
I'm trying to think who the equivalent of Ernest would be now.
I guess not Carrot Top.
No, Carrot Top's long gone.
I was almost gonna say Anne Hathaway, but that seems really unfair. There's something called like the Anne Hathaway syndrome, where just everybody hates you for no reason that's going around. I always sort of felt that. I'm like, why does everybody hate this person? Like
I never hated her to begin with.
Yeah, it's like she acts fine. She seems nice. I don't get it. But we're getting sidetracked. I don't know who the new Ernest is now, but
I'm trying to think something that would have come out of something small like the commercials, and that was it. I guess we did have that in some respect with like the cavemen who got the sitcom.
No, you know, it'd be like Flo, the progressive woman, whatever. If you gave her movies, it's like she's not the worst thing in the world. I don't even think she's really that bad. I laugh at one or two of the commercials, but if suddenly she's this big star and they're giving her movies and stuff, people be like, "What the hell is this? This is so fucking stupid and stuff." Even though she's probably fine.
Paramount Pictures presents Flo.
Flo. Oh, my aunt's in town. Okay. You knew I had to go there. So you got this movie, this Ernest Goes to Jail. Again, it was a hit. All three of these movies were surprise hits. And
I will say Ernest
Goes
to Jail was the most slapsticky, and I think the best at the slapstick.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was not... It
made no sense, but it's like, by God, they're just throwing all these weird visuals.
It was very much like a giant Three Stooges routine, and on that level, I thought that one did it the best. It's like, okay, this is literally just like jokes for little kids. And
and just everything is over the top.
Slapstick,
everything.
The slapstick comedy was passable. Like,
again, it's just so big and weird, you kind of just gotta go... I don't usually see this in movies, like even kids' movies, so I mean, you just kind of, you take it.
And then came Ernest Goes to Afghanistan. I thought it took a darker turn.
Oh my God!
Ernest signing up to fight the Russians.
Can you see Ernest as like a terrorist?
Working with a young Osama bin Laden. It was like a bosom buddies kind of like comedy road picture. It was
Ernest
not
goes
it
to
was-
ISIS.
yeah. It was not a hit. Not a hit.
No, when we had Ernest Scared Stupid was the next one, and even as kids, we knew this was bad. Yeah, we just walked out, and we were so ready to like this movie because we really liked Ernest.
Okay, let's be honest. I feel like I was maybe 12 or 13 when this film came out, and I was already at that tipping point where I'm like, I don't think this is for me anymore.
See, and I was ready for an Ernest movie, especially
you were a
Ernest
couple years.
Halloween
You would have been
movie.
like maybe 10.
Yeah, I was ready, and then I think after I saw it, that's when I said, I don't think I can do this anymore.
It just, I know it's weird to say the Ernest movie wasn't funny, because a lot of people
but this one just seemed
don't
like
think Ernest is funny. But as connoisseurs
as Ernest connoisseur.
of Ernest P. Worrell,
Yes, we know his
I
middle
can't even
initial.
say it seriously. You go.
No, this movie.
I just had a moment of sobriety. I'm like, what the fuck am I saying?
You know what it is? It felt like they said, hey, you know what we want to do again? Let's do like what made Ernest Goes to Camp not work, and let's make that the whole movie.
Yeah, that's a good way of
And,
putting it.
it's
From
like,
someone
okay.
who didn't mind Ernest Goes to Camp.
Okay, so there's a scene, and there's a lot of these in the Ernest movies where it's like, Ernest needs to escape jail. That's like the whole thing. So somehow he gets a disguise as this old middle-aged woman character trying to escape. It makes no sense.
The best
but-
of his disguises,
yes,
though.
No,
Let's
no, no.
be honest.
It is probably his best character. But he tries to escape and they throw him back in. Now that makes no sense, but it connects to the story. He's trying to escape. Here, these characters pop out. We don't know where they're coming from, how he has these costumes or anything like that, and they just talk to the camera. You're not even sure who he's talking to, and it doesn't connect with anything. I mean, fucking anything. It's like, hey, this guy can do some characters. Let's just give him some characters for a bit, and it just connects to nothing. And it's like, I feel like that's like half the movie. Is him doing these characters.
One of my big problems is, as I said, it wasn't funny. I just remember, like, when I first saw it, like this dingy cinema in the north suburbs or something, like when we were kids, I just remember being really, really bored. And that to me is the worst thing a movie can do for me is bore me. Like, if I was a kid and a movie bored me, you failed because something's wrong. Because I'm a kid, I should be easy to entertain.
Yeah.
And like a lot of films I know, I'm just like, okay, that was stupid. I realized I was stupid. I liked it as a kid. It was like, they didn't bore me though. Like, if you bore me as a kid, like, that's a special kind of dumb.
Well, and the interesting thing too,
And so much of it was just, I just remember long, boring scenes, not laughing. It was one of those early movies where I almost remember falling asleep because we saw like a late showing of it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think in the middle of the school week, and like, we had to get up at like the crack of dawn always for school. And it was one of those where I'm just like, wow, I may be actually too tired for this.
well, do you remember when we saw this film? I mean, we saw it once, and then like maybe we saw bits of it on TV or something. But I haven't seen this film in years. And then when we did it for Nostalgia Critic, like I'm watching all these scenes. I'm just turning to you. I'm like, do you even remember these scenes? And
I
it's
don't
like
remember
it was
the
so
movie now.
forgettable. That I'm
Yeah.
looking back and I'm like, do you remember the scene with the dumpster? Do you remember the scene with the opening where they capture the troll or whatever? And it's chasing the girl and everything. It's like
I remembered.
I remember them
that.
kind of putting him
Just
into
because
the
I
drama,
remember
but
it,
then
I just remember wondering what the hell it was. The first time I saw it, I'm like, what's with the
well, and then
trolls
here's-
and
the
and
strange
the
thing,
Puritans or whatever? And it,
for an Ernest movie, it was very unpleasant.
It
like
was
the troll was
unpleasant
not
to-
funny. It was not.
unpleasant to watch. I
Interesting
will
to
say
look
this,
at.
for something aimed at little kids, it was legitimately scary.
Yeah,
Which
I heard
is
a lot
not-
of kids crying. I remember, when,
Which is not something I would have associated with Ernest. And we got raised on 80s shit.
yeah.
So,
we were kind of used to it, but even I was kind of like, for an Ernest movie, it's just kind of.
and I think
intense.
that's the thing, it's the tone. It's like we were used to it in films that were aimed at like kids a little higher up on the age scale. But for something that really like you thought you could take your 3-year-old to, I just remember there were a lot of kids flipping the fuck out in the cinema when we saw it the first time. Like,
Well, and with something like Return to Oz or Secret of Nim and stuff, the scary parts are warranted. They're earned because they know they have this other stuff that's going to be, there's something worth fighting for, or there's like this good character or this innocence or something to balance it out. And
you're
here,
telling
it's like,
a
it's
story.
Ernest.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're telling a story. This is just, this fucking fucking Ernest.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want...
It's not like we're going to go really dark
You don't
because
want real
Ernest
scares.
deserves that.
You don't want stories. You don't want... Like, and I mean, that's the thing. It's like they kind of went for, like, bigger scares and dark kind of unpleasantness in something that you can't even... It's like you took Goosebumps way more seriously than Ernest. Like, so, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing, too, at the very end, all these other sort of trolls pop up, and they're kind of goofy looking, and they're actually kind of not bad designs. I was kind of wishing they were in more of the movie, because like, these are weird looking things. They got big eyes and where they kind of look like, you know, like old 80s trading cards, like Garbage Pail Kids or something like that. And I was kind of wishing there was more of them in the movie, and they're just sort of there at the end. And I'm also thinking, why couldn't the main troll look like this? Or why couldn't the main troll be funny? Or why couldn't he be different? Like, I mean, he's literally just this angry little thing going, I'm gonna get you. Oh, you're stoned now. And it's like, that's it. You can do anything with this fucking beast. And you don't do anything with it.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, again, it sounds so weird. For an Ernest movie, it seemed kind of derivative.
It seemed
like,
kind of mean-spirited.
Not just mean-spirited, but just, like, I felt like Monster Squad had already covered this.
Yeah.
I felt like, do you remember, what was the Disney Channel special, Mr. Boogedy?
Mr. Boogedy, I remember Mr.
Boogedy. I remember thinking when I saw this movie that I was like, this just reminds me of that Mr. Boogedy thing that came on a few years earlier.
Yeah.
So everything about
Except
it...
that was done better. That was all build up to the ending,
Yeah.
and it was stupid, but it was legit good build up.
So it all kind of felt derivative. Like, I'm not saying Ernest Saves Christmas or Ernest Goes to Jail was a shockingly original idea, but I'm like, all right, they're just having goofy fun doing this. This just felt like it was assembled from other movies.
But
I'm like,
those...
I give the other two, like, Ernest Goes to Camp definitely comes out of that 80s camp thing we had going, but the other two, at least, I felt like, they're just doing their own thing. Whether you want to argue, they're doing
like
it
they're
well.
bringing something
But
kind of new too. You know, that Santa was new. Ernest riding the sleigh and going around the world, that was kind of new. The look of Ernest Goes to Jail.
I'm not even going to argue it needs to necessarily be new, but it didn't feel like it was pieced together out of other films.
Yeah.
Like, this just literally felt like somebody read a few other Halloween scripts. It was just like, shoved into one movie.
The one thing, there's two things I got from this film that I'm kind of like, okay, well, that was kind of neat. The only joke in the whole movie that made me laugh is when he says, I never know when to quit. Just ask my third grade teacher. And just out of nowhere, it cuts to his third grade teacher, and there's Ernest writing on the wall, he never knew when to quit. And she hits him in the back of the head. I'm like, that was so odd, you can't help but laugh. It was just so out of nowhere. But no, the other two things is, Eartha Kitt was so bizarre.
I fucking love Eartha Kitt.
Yeah.
Anything.
And it's kind of like, okay, I'll buy this because it's Eartha Kitt. I love Eartha Kitt. And then that weird joke that before the internet, you had to do research in order to get at all, and that's the Miak joke. Which is so strange. Nobody would know what the fuck Miak is. Does it exist? What is it? And the fact that I had to do research on it, I kind of respect, because that is just so strange and so bizarre.
It for the people?
No, what was it? It was like Bulgarian? A Bulgarian liquid or something like that actually doesn't exist, but people always sort of said it might exist or it might not, and it's like supposed to be some sort of delicacy that's kind of like, you know, jelly-ish or like syrup-y or something.
I was actually hoping that if you would explain it to the audience, I would remember what the fuck you were talking about, but I still don't.
No, because he thinks like...
This was all a ruse just to be like, man, I don't remember that at all. Let's see if I can remember from his explanation.
No, because they figure out it's milk, but there's a letter missing, so he thinks it's Miak. Like, he goes to Miak before he goes to milk.
Oh, no, I kind of remember.
And it's like, it's so bizarre. And then he actually has a jar of it, and you're just thinking like, where the hell did he get this thing that kind of doesn't exist? So it was so strange. And that was part of the humor I kind of liked in the other Ernest movies. It was just so strange.
Yeah.
And then it just turned into pretty much a straight to VHS movie. So, yeah.
You know what? Don't bother. Rent Paranorman. That was a way better movie.
Oh, there's a lot of better, a lot of better movies to see.
And again, we say this is connoisseurs.
Ernest kind of theories.
Ernest connoisseur. It started the slide, I think, of the Ernest films into mediocrity.
We actually did watch one or two of the VHS ones. Like, I think I watched.
Wasn't there? I swear to God, there was like an Ernest Goes to Africa.
There was, and from
all I
I'm
could think of
hearing-
was Shaft Goes
No,
to
no, no.
Africa. I'm like,
I haven't seen it, but now it's getting like this reputation of being like unbelievably racist, and now I'm really curious to see it.
Nice.
But no, I saw Ernest Goes Back to School. I saw that one, and it was bad. Just like I said, I think we're adjusting a chair. It's like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna do any more of these.
we felt betrayed.
You betrayed us, Ernest.
It was
No, that was definitely the
that-
point where it's like, I think we're growing up.
all good things must come to an end.
Yes. No, but there was something, I will say, watching Scared Stupid and Goes Back to School and stuff like that did make me look and realize, like, yeah, with Saves Christmas and Goes to Jail, they're stupid, but it's like, something did work more in those movies than it did in these other ones. And it's kind of fun to figure out what it is.
There's a Tao to everything, like a way to everything, like a kind of Zen. And within the low bar
Of Ernest
standard of Ernest movies, they found a way to make something work for a while, and then they lost it.
Yeah. But, yeah.
It's like, it's the same thing with the Care Bears movies. I'm like, the first
is not
one, I'm
good,
like,
but
you know
it's
what?
like-
This works within the framework they set up, and then the sequels get increasingly worse.
Yeah. Except we did have God.
Time for a game of disappearing bears.
But yeah, and I'm trying to, the only other thing I can think about to talk about is maybe, do you remember the show? Hey Vern, it's Ernest.
Hey Vern, it's Ernest. Yeah. The best bits
And that
about
was the show.
the best bits about it were just like when he would bust in at Vern's place,
Yeah.
like he does in the movies. Like that was really the only really funny thing about.
I don't
the
even think
show.
Vern-
Yes,
yeah.
he had like it was his Saturday morning. That was a Saturday morning.
Yeah, it was a Saturday
cartoon
morning.
show
It was
kinda
Saturday
thing.
morning live action.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't a cartoon, but it ran during those.
I
blocks.
can't remember if it was good. It probably wasn't, but I can't remember if it was good. But I do remember it was strange.
I remember
and I remember
being-
kind of admiring for how strange it was, because it was kind of like you can't do that on television, where it was like just a series of cutaway things and sketches, except it was even more random and more strange.
The 80s were fucking weird.
Yeah. Well, that might have been like
That may have been
89
early
or
90s.
something.
Yeah. Well,
But,
there's that bleed over. I kind of still consider it the 80s till about 92.
Yeah. Well, when there's a sense of like just throw anything, we don't fucking care. That's usually the 80s.
The 90s to me honestly kick in Summer of Jurassic Park. That to me is like the real.
I go a little before that.
I know I gotta go like that. Summer of Jurassic Park is really the kickoff of the 90s for me. I'm like that's where the 90s.
Everything
really
that's
got
when
into
everything went
gear.
extreme. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, we're not gonna be like,
But before that, but like when I
everything's
look,
huge, everything's gigantic, everything's in your face. Like that's kind of the 90s.
but you know when you look at fashion trends and you look at the music and everything. You look at 1990, 91, 92, like, I'm sorry, go back and look at the commercials and everything. We're still transitioning
I say
out
92,
of the
93
80s.
is kind of what
We're
I think
coming
that's
out
most
of the
decades.
80s, but
Yeah.
like, look at old news footage. I was like, there was some news story about Hillary Clinton, and they ran some clip from fucking 1994, and I'm like, oh my god, the shoulder
She
pads,
still had the shoulder pads.
and the hair and the color. I'm like, it literally looked like 1988. So like, we still were transitioning out of that slowly. Just like I still kind of consider the early 2000s kind of part of the late 90s.
90s, yeah, still had 90s feel. But yeah, so there you go. That's sort of our take on Ernest Scared Stupid, just the Ernest movies in general.
They got the stupid part right.
Yes.
And if you were a toddler, they got the scared part right. In
those
fact, they got both.
the Christmas and jail are always gonna have a place in my heart, no matter what. Even some of those old commercials can be a little funny. The Ernest commercials, not many, but some of them can. And yeah, there's just something about Ernest. I never quite got on the hate. I completely understand it, but I never really got onto it. There's just something too naive and innocent about it. I can't quite hate it.
It's like
and I'll
there's
still
some-
watch those two films. And
There's some
legitimately
Adam
enjoy them.
Sandler films that I like.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of them.
But I understand when people are just like, God Christ, I hate Adam Sandler. I hate that. I'm like, I get it. You know, there were some Dean Cook routines that I actually found funny, but they're like, God, I can't. I get it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the same thing with Ernest. It's like, there are some things about it I like. I get it if you don't.
Yeah. Actually, that is another one. I never minded Dean Cook that much either. Like, I don't love him. I don't get like the huge obsession there with the stadiums of people.
Was
and
it
stuff.
Double Team? What movie did we do that he was in?
I forget, but yeah, a movie where
He was terrible
He was
in
awful
that.
in that. But as a stand-up, it's like I don't know. He just seems like any other stand-up. Though I did hear
But
like
I
he
could-
stole Louis C.K.'s jokes and stuff. But by God, that crossover they did on Louis, that was fucking hilarious, and how seriously they both treated it. I mean, I'm sorry, he can steal some jokes if we can get more crossovers like that, because that was fucking hilarious.
Again, though, I get why people
Yeah,
would
I
find
can-
him annoying.
I get, after that movie, I could see it more. I don't know, I never quite got the extreme hate. Maybe it was just, I think it comes more from because he was so popular, and people are like, why is this guy so popular? I think it's the same thing with Twilight, though Twilight did become so insanely fun, stupid. It's like, I think people hate it more because of how popular it is. If you just saw the first movie on TV or something, stupid, whatever, you don't think anything of it. But the fact that it's so popular is what makes everyone pissed off. Yes, much worse movies.
It's like 50 Shades of Grey, that movie. I'm like, wow, I really wanted this to be way worse than it was. That would have been funnier, at least.
But Bella has turned into one of my favorite villains ever. So there you go. That's the Ernest movies. We'll probably do more Nostalgia-ween movies. I think we kind of been holding off so that we could talk about them during this month. So there's definitely more on the way, and we will see you there. Happy October.
Boo.